From her days in the Danvers Youth League, where she started at just 3 years old alongside old boys, to competing in 3 Olympics with the U.S. national team, hockey has always been a big part of Meghan Duggan's life. And over the course of her now 30 years on the ice, she's accomplished a lot. As a forward for the University of Wisconsin Badgers, she was named the Women's College Hockey Association Player of the Year. She's played on 3 pro teams, including the Canadian League's Boston Blades, where she and her teammates won the Clarkson Cup twice. And with USA Hockey, she won 7 World Championships, 2 Olympic silver medals in 2010 and 14, the year she became captain. And of course, as you all remember, in 2018, she helped lead the team to its first gold medal in 20 years. But now Meghan Duggan is retiring from Team USA, and she joined me earlier this week to discuss. Meghan, congratulations. Great to meet you.
Hey, thank you so much. It's great to meet you as well, and thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. You know, I was so impressed. I read your personal retirement essay at ESPN, and I would have assumed you started with the 7 gold medals or the 1 gold medal. You don't. You start with how proud you were about a boardroom you were in March of 2017. What happened in that boardroom, Meghan?
Definitely one of the proudest moments of my career upon reflection. And when I think about what myself and my teammates went through during that time period, it's something I'll never forget. We were standing up to our national governing body and fighting for gender equality within our program. There were a lot of components that went into it, but being in that boardroom that day, pretty much arm in arm with a lot of my teammates and our lawyers, and really pushing the envelope and advocating for girls and women in our sport is something I'll never forget.
And you also wrote that the lawyers had been doing all the talking, and finally they said it was time for a player to speak. Who did they choose?
I was chosen, I think, having been a captain of the team and a leader in the movement. Mm-hmm. Didn't know I was going to have to bring out my lawyer pants that day, but I think it was really special for us to be able to voice exactly from the player's mouth how we felt, and obviously felt it was important for the other side and the gentleman we were discussing with to really hear the passion in the player's voice.
So, powerful advocate, we know that. We also know great player. 2 heartbreaking losses. I remember watching the games in 2010 and 2014 in the gold medal game. You win in 2018. Do you still remember the feeling in your body when it became real in 2018 that you'd won the gold medal? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, I've said this so many times. I wish I could bottle up that moment or that frozen instant in time of, when our goaltender, Matty Rooney, made that save in the final shot of the shootout to propel us to win the gold medal, and just pure euphoric joy, and celebrating with my teammates, throwing our gloves everywhere, just hugging and smiling, and then, subsequently celebrating with our families on the ice. It was just such a special time for all of us.
We felt pretty good, and we didn't even play, by the way, so just so you know, it wasn't just you guys who... I was going to ask you what it was like to overcome crushing losses in the gold medal games in 2010 and 2014, and then I learned that you have a very interesting strategy about how to deal with defeat in those games. You decided to just simply marry the opposition. Is that a strategy you'd recommend to people?
Oh, gosh.
How weird is that,
certainly.
By the way?
No, certainly a unique situation. For the background, my wife Jillian is a retired Canadian Olympian in women's ice hockey, and we certainly had our battles throughout the years. But she retired prior to the 2018 games, right after the 2014 games, and a lot of different strategies in dealing with the heartbreaking losses and moving forward to a gold medal. I don't know if that's one of them, but. On a serious note, really, really proud of our team in transforming after the 2014 games in that heartbreak in Sochi that you mentioned, and really putting ourselves in the position that we wanted to win gold in 2018, which we did.
I'm sure you think a lot about why is women's hockey in the Olympics so huge? And then when it gets to the pro level, and I know you played for a couple of teams, why hasn't it achieved the same kind of prominence and audience in between Olympics when people are so into the game every 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that myself and my teammates and a lot of advocates in women's hockey have been asking ourselves for a very long time. it's super exciting as an Olympian, to play in front of that many eyeballs when we play in a Olympic gold medal final. I mean, millions of people watch that game and reach out to us. So our work continues all the time in the professional women's hockey landscape in a non-Olympic year, continuing to fight for, people to be able to see women's professional ice hockey on television or in all the different news media and outlets that we have access to these days. So the women's professional hockey battle continues. Myself and a lot of my teammates are up for the fight, and we're continuing to do everything we can to move it forward.
I think you said somewhere that, I'm sure more than someplace, you decided you wanted to be the captain of a gold medal winning Olympic hockey team at the ripe old age of 10. And obviously you achieved that. And now you're retired. How old are you, 33? Is that what you are now, 33?
33, correct.
So you're retired from what has been a huge, to say the least, part of your life. What's next for you, and how do you ever recapture the unbelievable excitement of what you've spent so much of your life doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can ever recapture some of the moments I've had the opportunity to be a part of. They've changed my life, and they've been goals and dreams that I've worked towards, as you mentioned, since I was, 10 years old or before. Yeah. I think the one thing in me that will never change is my passion, my work ethic, my motivation to succeed in so many different areas. I hope to use some of that passion and motivation to really do some advocacy work, obviously in the gender equality space, but in helping with a lot of the different things that we're seeing in our country right now, and a lot of the different divisions, and being able to stand up for and speak out on behalf of marginalized groups, whether that's race or gender or sexual orientation. That's all important to me, and I'm going to use a lot of my passion to do some of that. I want to continue to make an impact in hockey, and whatever that looks like. And I'm a new mom. I just had a baby back in February. So my 8-month-old son, George, is the light of my life right now, and taking on all of the adventure and the challenges that brings, being a parent and carrying and delivering a baby. So that's been a wonderful thing in my life as well, and continuing to work on all of those things.
Well, good luck to you in all this work, Meghan. I'm sure you'll be just as successful as you've been on the ice. Love watching you play, and it's great meeting you today, too. Thanks.
Thanks so much for having me on.